Welcome to the MacVet Podcast, the show that talks about communication, cows, and coffee. I'm your host, Fiona MacGillivray, and today I'm talking to Duncan Hunter, who runs a dairy consulting business in the UK. So, a regular feature of this podcast is for me to ask my guests about their favourite breed of cow, but in this episode, I'm going to be asking Duncan to share his vast expertise and knowledge about my favourite dairy breed, the Ayrshire. And my first experience of Ayrshire cows was when I worked as a new graduate in mixed practice in Dumfries. And what really stood out for me was their calmness and, of course, gorgeous coat colour. Can't even talk. The gorgeous coat colour. And when I moved from Dumfries to work in Derbyshire, I wasn't expecting there to be any Ayrshire herds in the practice, but was actually delighted to meet the Broadley family at Bruncliffe Farm, who use that vet practice. And it was actually Andrew Broadley who introduced me to Duncan, who was a key ambassador for the breed. So previously, Duncan has been breed manager for the Ayrshire Cattle Society of Great Britain and Ireland, and part of his work included the management of the Breed Heritage Programme. So I'm excited to learn about Duncan's experience and what he knows about the Ayrshire cow. Duncan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Fiona.
So I mentioned that you currently offer consultancy services in the dairy sector. How would you describe what that is that you do in your consultancy?
Okay, well, I mean, being breed manager for the Ayrshire Cattle Society, I had my own dairy herd as well. I used to milk 140 cows, mixture of mainly Ayrshires, but some Holsteins also. So I've been there and done it. I'm not one of these consultants that's never been in a milking pile or got covered in cow poo. I've been there and experienced the whole thing, and I had a very successful production and inspection herd. But I had to stop working with the Ayrshire Cattle Society just through some health reasons. And after I got myself sorted again, I decided to put my expertise to try and help others, which gives me a lot of satisfaction, because I think in life everybody needs a bit of that. And so basically I started up a consultancy company to help people breed cows for the future. The industry faces a lot of challenges with sustainability, with what the market demands are. And I feel through my own experiences, I can help people. But I also offer diversification advice as well, and a bit of business overseeing. And currently the Ayrshire Cattle Society have taken me, are using my services for certain projects like what you mentioned before, the Breed Heritage Programme, and other field work. So that's where I am at the moment.
Excellent. Thank you for explaining. So let's start at the beginning, if you like, or in terms of, let's look at the Ayrshire cow. Can you describe the breed characteristics?
Yeah, so typically the Ayrshire is a medium-sized cow. Medium-sized cows are what's required in today's industry to be more efficient and more economic, but they're really known for their dairy capacity, their strength, their strong mammary systems, like with good attachments, which makes them last a long time, and above all, tremendous legs and feet. As you know, from Derbyshire, there's a lot of hills. And that's why the Ayrshire excels in Derbyshire, because the cows find those hills and terrain with such similar such similar systems. They can power up those hills, and even as old cows. So it's those legs and feet that give them that sort of characteristic of the Ayrshire value. Little maintenance is needed with Ayrshires. They're a very easy managed breed, and I think that helps a lot, especially with labour shortages. People don't want to be foot trimming all the time. They don't want to be treating cows with antibiotics. It's time consuming. And then when you go to the type of milk that's produced by an Ayrshire cow, she's got a great balance of component levels and produces healthier milk proteins, which creates easier digestion. and contributes to a great taste. And those who have milk in their coffee says it's great in their coffee.
Definitely. I like the combination coffee and the milk, like you say.
I have my black personally.
That's acceptable. Each to their own.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so you've already mentioned that you have lived and breathed Ayrshires. You don't work in an abstract way, so you probably have got a good insight into also some of their maybe personality traits, or would you say there are some personality traits that stand out for you?
Yeah, I think if you ask anybody that's had any experience with Ayrshires, the first thing they'll tell you is it's their will to live. They don't want to die. They don't want to be injured. They've got so much get up and go in them. They're so tough. They've been known to have a little bit of attitude, but haven't we all? And I think a little bit of attitude can have its advantages where if you've got a downer cow, she wants to get up, she's not just going to sit there. She's going to keep trying until she gets up. And that's a big part of the personality. And I think, obviously you mentioned earlier, you love the cows because they're brown in color. Well, that color has a big effect on their personality about what an Ayrshire can do. Because if you think about British summertime anywhere, black cows absorb heat. If you go out and wear a black t-shirt during the day, you're going to be hotter than you are if you're wearing a white one. Well, it's just the same with the color of the cow's hairs. Like it doesn't absorb the heat so much, so they are really good in hot climates, and they also have a thicker skin, which means that they don't suffer from the cold and the wet so much. So if you're driving around the countryside and it's pouring rain, you see the Ayrshires are still out grazing because they're that little bit tougher, and that's why they thrive as well in Scandinavia. But I think if you ask any Ayrshire breed around the world, their personality is that will to live with a little bit of attitude.
Oh, I love that. That's obviously why I had that affinity with them. The attitude.
I said nothing.
Quite right. Keep quiet. Fantastic. So going back to sort of the heritage of the Ayrshire breed, when was the breed first registered, and what would you say has changed over the years?
Okay, so the Ayrshire Cattle Society first started its herd book in 1877. So that's 147 years ago. So it's going to be
Bit before
150
your
years.
time.
A little bit, not much. But yeah, but in those times, Ayrshires were the dominant breed right throughout the UK, especially in Scotland. Predominantly Ayrshires and Dairy Shorthorns were the prominent breed. That was right through the 1800s, even before the herd book was created. And then in the early 1900s, we saw the introduction of the importation of Friesians from the USA. And they basically, obviously, they were giving more milk. And as things changed, which we've seen huge changes in those 147 years, we've seen changes in farming systems, the way we feed our cows, what we feed our cows, demands from the industry and market requirements. That's led to farmers needing to produce higher volumes of milk in whichever way they could get it. And obviously, like up to today, obviously the Holstein is now the dominant breed, and that's because the market has demanded it. But who knows what future market demands will be? Maybe the Ayrshire and other traditional breeds are going to make a comeback. Let's wait and see.
And would you know how many herds there are currently in the UK?
Yes, in there with it. I mean, there's 900 odd Ayrshire breeders, and probably 3/4 of those are actively breeding all over the country, and that's England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and a few in Southern Ireland as well. So yes, there's plenty out there, but if you look at the geographical maps, they're more suitable to certain areas on grazing systems, especially down through the southwest. Then, as we've already touched on, Derbyshire and through the Peak, all through the Peak District, north of England, wherever there's hilly terrain or those dairy farmers where they're predominantly grazing, as some systems dictate that that's the best way for them to farm. That's where the Ayrshires really come to the fore.
So you've touched on already the topic of sustainability, which is obviously a big focus for the industry today. And you've also mentioned some of the traits that the Ayrshire breed could bring or support with that goal in mind. Is there anything else in particular that the Ayrshire breed has that is attractive for sustainability into the future that people are looking towards introducing into maybe their herds?
So, we've already touched on their natural grazing ability, but this does help produce the volume and the quality of milk for profitability. And because of all their great health traits that that we can talk about, it is proven that healthier cows will convert feed to milk more efficiently and release less methane. So for environmental sustainability, the Ayrshire breed has got that going for them. We've got to also remember the inputs into each cow has got to be in balance with the milk that she produces, which is where the Ayrshire breed comes into the fore. And many of the Ayrshire breeders throughout the UK, they're successfully processing and selling their milk directly to local customers, which in turn is reducing the carbon footprint and improving the sustainability of their business. So, and sustainability is, it's the market demand now, isn't it? It has to be, in any industry.
For sure. Thanks for explaining that. Looking back at the Breed Society, and obviously you've been involved previously as leading that, and you're working again with the society. How do you go about communicating within the society amongst the members, sharing sort of messages and addressing issues?
Sure. Ayrshire breeders, how can I explain Ayrshire breeders? It's one big family, and I literally mean that. So if you want to get, so it's a bit like, I suppose, if you've got neighbours and you tell your nosy neighbour next door something and it's going to get to the end of the street by the end of the day. It's a bit like that with the Ayrshire breed. But no, seriously, technology makes communications very easy. We have a website. The Ayrshire Cattle Society has its own website. It's got all its own social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and recently TikTok. So obviously this spreads throughout the Ayrshire community, but also to an external community. The Cattle Society also publish it's called the Ayrshire Journal, twice a year. So it's basically somewhere where breeders can advertise animals for sale. It's more of a publication within the membership, but we do have subscribers away from the breed and also international. And then e-newsletters is something that's just been started. So I'd say technology, really brings that communication easily to everybody now. As when I was young, there was no such thing. It's like, of most of the things that I just mentioned. So it was like everything was written down on a piece of paper and posted to you, wasn't it? So for sure. So communication through the society, and I think the society's gone through a lot of staff changes over the last few years, and there's Amy, who's basically the administrator for the society now. She's very she's really good with technology, and I'm doing certain things as well, and I'm learning. I had a great time last night setting up a TikTok platform for the society, which drove me potty, but I learned a lot and saw a lot of stuff that I'd never seen before. So,
like you say, it's an opportunity to learn, isn't it? But I have to say, hats off TikTok. I've not even gone anywhere near that.
Every day's a learning day, Fiona.
Yeah. Gosh. I would say maybe I'll be tempted, but I don't know if I'm. Yeah, maybe we'll have to talk off air on
okay.
tips. So you mentioned, and you make a really good point. I guess we should look at it. I know the positives from the broad range of ways that we can communicate both within the society and to a wider audience are fantastic. And also, I picked up that you'd had an article published in the mainstream media back in, I think, 2009, talking about Bella, one of your prize-winning Ayrshire cows. I wondered how that came about, and if you could tell us a bit about Bella.
Oh, Bella was a superstar. She was my favorite cow, and she brought us some of our biggest accolades. She was the first cow that we got a major championship with at the Royal Show. We won the Royal Show in 2003 with her. She was interbreed production and inspection champion in 2005. She won the National Dairy Farming event 3 times. Wow. She was a production queen, as I called her. She had lots of milk, really good high quality milk. She was even in a couple of movies because we were based just north of London. We used to have quite a lot of filming done on the farm, and there was a movie called Son of Rambo, and she wasn't the star, obviously, but
Wow.
I did demand her name went up in the titles at the end of the movie.
Excellent.
And then when I dispersed my dairy herd in 2011, she was actually sold to a Canadian breeder. And she stayed on my farm, and then I did some embryo transfer work with her and sent the embryos out to Canada, where they got lots of daughters and sons and are working with the family over there. But how she got into the media, it's a very good question. I assume it was because just our location at the time. We were near London. We were, reporters don't like traveling too far, do they? Unless they have to. So I think I was the easy option, but I think it was really everyone had a soft spot for Bella.
I'm not surprised, and if you wouldn't mind, maybe we can share a picture of her in the show notes.
I got so many.
Oh, fabulous! Oh, she sounds a character.
Yeah, she was.
And nice to know she's living on in Canada through her
through her progeny, and not just
yeah.
there. There's obviously I sold a lot of her daughters in my sale, so there's a number of herds throughout the UK that have got progeny and great granddaughters, and the family will live on.
Oh, lovely. That's a lovely thing to know.
Yeah.
So what's been your focus in recent activities to help promote the breed?
Myself and one of the Ayrshire breeders, James Mattinson, along with the vice president of the society, John Watson, we've been working over the last few months on a promotional video campaign to highlight the breed's benefits. So we've made 5 separate videos demonstrating the adaptability of the breed, the longevity, herd health, milk quality, and grazing ability. So for those 5 videos, we've even used artificial intelligence. I nearly said insemination. Artificial intelligence for a voiceover, because we felt that none of us were posh enough. So so we've used that. So that's bringing more technology into.
I was going to say embracing
equation.
Yes,
absolutely.
Wow.
And so we just launched our first one last Friday, and so you can see them on our YouTube channel, on the website, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So they're all up and running, and we'll be releasing another one tomorrow. So we're going to be doing them every Friday for the next 5 weeks, and then after that we'll continue doing a lot of sort of snippets after that to keep promoting. But we're looking for a bigger audience. Obviously, there's certain audiences that are just, you're not reaching more people very quickly, and that's why we've gone on to TikTok, because there is a huge audience out there, and you can hashtag as many people into it to get it seen to a wider audience. So that's what we're doing. We've also recently just done a breed survey. So we selected a number of farms with the most cows, so that we could bring a lot of cows into that survey to find a lot of information on fertility, on health traits, to see how much milk cows were getting on each types of different systems, and that's been really interesting. So we'll use that information going forward to promote the breed further. So so really we're sort of right in that middle bit of just doing a lot.
Wow.
And yes, I suppose if we were to be critical of ourselves, we maybe haven't done enough over the last few years, but better late than never. Yeah, I
Obviously.
mean, obviously our aim is to make Ayrshire, the Ayrshire breed, more popular within the dairy farmers, because we do believe they've got a lot to offer for any system, whether it be grazing, low input systems, high input systems, crossbreeding programs. You know, people don't consider the Ayrshire as an option for crossbreeding, but we've got a lot of people that have had Holstein herds that have used Ayrshires and are actually delighted with the results. To give them more easier managed and more viable cows for their system. So so I think going forward, we'd like to just maybe do a lot more to expand our audience, and also I think within this the general public, they can learn a lot from this. If you teaching them about milk quality and what a dairy cow should be. We all know there's a lot of people out there that don't like farmers. And if we can reach out to those people and show them that we have got happy, healthy cows that are living a good life, they're being looked after well, then the whole perception of dairy farming can only be improved. And that is another message that we really want to get out there.
Oh, fantastic. And obviously we'll share all the links in the show notes, etc. But I think, as you say, the fact things like videos and having your access content shared through social media means you can reach that wider audience and they can see with their own eyes what you're getting up to. So that's fantastic. Yeah, I love that. What would you say your proudest achievement's been?
In what? In dairy farming, or within the like as a farmer, as a consultant, as a Ayrshire breeder? I suppose that's probably what you want to be asking.
You may answer it whichever way you wish.
Oh my word! Well, I'd have to say, firstly, my proudest achievement is my 4 sons, because they're just amazing boys. And but my achievements, I suppose, I don't know, just being there for people. I love helping people. I'm very fortunate to have a lot of friends, both throughout the dairy industry, and not just Ayrshire breeders, Holstein breeders, Jersey breeders, dairy shorthorns, brown Swiss, the lot. And I think if you ask anybody realistically in life, if you've got a lot of friends and you've got people that you can always turn to and talk to about, and we always talk cows. I mean, everywhere we go, we talk cows.
That's the best topic, yeah.
Yeah. Or coffee, because I love coffee too. But yeah, I think that if you're that sort of person that has that ability to be able to talk to people, to be able to share experiences, to learn from other people's experiences, and that's every walk of life, not just in dairy farming. I think that's probably, if I was being honest, that would be what I would say.
That sounds a lovely answer. Yeah, thank you. And out of interest, are your sons interested in farming?
No, no, unfortunately not. They never, unless you sat them on a tractor or a quad bike when they were young, they were quite happy. But no, they've all found their pathways and doing different things. So yes, no, unfortunately not. Which is basically why my farm was sold. It was just I'd done what I wanted to do. I'd achieved so much, and I had nothing else to prove to myself, and I wanted to do something new. So so yeah, but no, they weren't.
But how lovely that you're still working within the community and, as you say, giving back, sharing your knowledge and helping other people. So yeah, how fantastic to look back on what you've achieved and still stay in the industry and help others. achieve
Yeah,
what
no,
they'd
I'm
like to
lucky.
reach.
I'm lucky that way. Yes.
Yeah, cool. Oh, so you mentioned coffee. I'm intrigued to
Don't get me
explore
started.
this a little bit more.
Okay, go on.
I
It's
know I'm on safer ground than when I build up. How much of a coffee snob are you? And then someone tells me they drink tea. I know I'm on safe ground here. So do tell me about your coffee drinking habits.
all right. So I am a coffee snob. It's official, and
Brilliant.
yeah, don't try putting instant coffee in a cup for me. It's like my days of being polite when I used to go to farms and say, "Oh yes, I'll have a coffee." Not anymore. I'd rather do without unless you've got a Tassimo machine. Um, but yeah, I'm a quad espresso man. So
Whoa,
two double
hardcore.
espresso, two double espressos in one cup. That's my preference, or the strongest Colombian coffee you can find.
Mm,
So yeah, and if there's no coffee in the house, I freak out. But I'm very lucky. I've got a pub just in the village that does really good coffee. So I'll go
yeah,
knocking on the door when they're closed. If yeah, the locals will
that's a
think I'm an alcoholic, but I'm not. I'm just
yeah.
going to get my coffee.
Wow, what a fantastic backup to have. Oh,
Yes.
I'm envious. I'm envious. And that's properly hardcore. Whew, quadruple.
Yeah. I do get some funny looks when I order at coffee shops.
I bet. I bet. Well, it's nice to meet a fellow coffee snob. So, yeah, I'm also a bit fussy, but good fun. Duncan, is there anything else you'd like to share that you think would be interesting or important for our listeners to hear?
I think, yeah, I mean, obviously you mentioned earlier that it's, you've got a lot of dairy farmers listening, you've got a lot of vets listening, and,
Mm,
I think where your veterinary audience is a lot of people won't have experienced the Ayrshire breed, but
mm,
I think it's simple. Pass the message along that the Ayrshire breed has got a lot to offer, um, and I think realistically, healthy cows is what we're all looking for. We're all looking to reduce the workload a little bit. And labour is very hard to get, as we discussed earlier.
mhm,
So for an easy managed, profitable, enjoyable herd of cows,
mhm.
try the Ayrshire. It's go out and buy a few. There's plenty for sale. Or if not, just give me a call. I'll find them for you.
Yeah,
But yeah, I would say once you try them, you'll be hooked. That's for sure.
yeah, for sure. And I would say that from a vet point of view as well,
That's good
having
to
been there,
hear.
done that. So that's hashtag buy an Ayrshire.
Hashtag, but that's
Is
a new
that,
one for TikTok.
yeah.
I'm gonna write that
I
down.
love that. Yeah. Perfect. Well, Duncan, I've absolutely loved talking to you this afternoon. Thank you so much for telling me about Bella and sharing your expertise about the fantastic and my favourite dairy cow breed, the Ayrshire. Thank you so much for being on the show.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.